Yeah, lights on, screens up, here we go. Welcome to
I
Radish
did
Dijital.
it, we got a
Breaking down
super!
the plays, the pulls, the plans, straight from the floor of the battle arena.
Oh, that's John! Oh my god! Oh my god, let's go!
Oh my goodness, where's Dell?
Oh my goodness.
Where's Dell?
Oh,
one.
Oh,
baby!
it's all official. Debates, rankings, what's coming next? If it's BoBA,
the kid! Linoleum! It's gonna be
Oh my goodness,
Caliber!
165.
Slappy and
Oh
Sourdough.
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So sick!
The name is Valley. A Valley hit house.
Now that's an intro.
Movie magic.
Good morning, Slappy.
Good morning, and good morning to Joseph for being first.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, so I hope you like that. Is that, of course, appreciate Soothing from Valley Hit House, who gave us footage from all the great hits that they hit. And of course, that one that was not him hitting it for Valley Hit House. Do you like how I took your video and I focused in on you in the back room with your head in your hands? I was like, I wasn't even focused on the card. I was like, let's get the shot of Mitch crying inside.
Man, you know, it's so awesome that we hit another super, but man, it's tough not being the one to pull it, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I know. I love Joseph's comments. Adam highlights. Oh, that's awesome.
Basically. But I will say, I think I've ripped 5,000 plus packs going all the way back to Alpha Update. No super to my name. Which it's pretty tough, pretty tough pill to swallow. But it's coming. A lot of people believe it's coming in the next week. I'm doing a case of hobby, case of double megas today. It could be today, so you never know.
Do you know how funny it's going to be if Rue, who's doing Decked by KJ, her first official break on Thursday? Do you know how funny it's going to be if Rue hits a super on her?
I've been texting her. I called her after the break on Saturday, and she was like, "I'm so sorry." She felt so bad. She was like, "Oh man, it's gotta hurt so bad." And I was like, "Yeah, it sucks. It sucks." But I was like, "I guarantee you're gonna hit one before me at this rate." So, and there's also a little bet going around that if I don't pull one before Tecmo, I do have to shave my head. So if I don't hit a super before Tecmo Bowl, I will be shaving my head. My fiance is not happy about it.
I to be honest, you're so outlandish that I need something better than that. So actually, what I would love is I would require you to get a hairless cat. And so you would have to shave your head and have a hairless cat and continue to have that hairless cat on stream with you every time you break until you get a super.
What in the world is that? Man, there's been some talks. I mean, there's been bets roaming around. There's another bet that that Devin laid out to me, and it was if I do a 500 pack break and I don't pull a super, I have to get a bazooka tattoo. But if I do pull a super, he has to get a Valley tattoo, and that's I don't know. That's quite the bet.
Do you have any tattoos presently?
I do. I've got a half sleeve here and one on my thigh.
Oh, okay. And now Bazooka, who is like the most wholesome person like known to man, does he have? And not that tattoos aren't wholesome, but is like, does he have any tattoos?
I have no idea if he does or not. To be honest with you, Slappy, he threw the idea out there, so I would assume yes, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's cockiness on his part. That's cockiness on his part.
So, but yeah, I mean,
by the way, you mentioned you've ripped like 5,000 packs. I wish you hadn't done that because I was going to say, what is it? 5 million. I was going to say, this is the man who's ripped 5,236,000, but you spoiled it by saying it's around 5,000.
It's probably more
by
than
the
5,000, to be honest with you. I mean, if you think about a case of Javi, it's 120 packs. Case of Del Megas is 112. Jumbo's 300. So I mean, it might be more. It could definitely be more than 5,000
Yeah.
packs. So
By the way, Whiplash saying he will pull one, possibly at Dick's. Maybe you'll pull one at Dick's. And then Moro asking, wait, did she hit a super? Not yet.
no,
Not yet.
no,
She hasn't. And then
no. But I will
Mayor
tell you. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. No, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say my fiance knows how to pick boxes, man. Whenever we do a personal rip, it's always a FaceTime call to Kaylee, and she picks the box, and she is 2 for 2 on secret one of ones.
Mm. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're marrying the right woman. You're marrying
Yes.
the right woman.
Yes.
I just a shout out to Mayor Joe, two of my favorite people. Right back at you, Joe. Of course, been involved with BoBA since before there was a printed card. And then good morning to Julio, who's in there, along with Card Shark Sniper. So just saying good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot that we want to talk about since last week, but I sent you, before we went live, is that Mitch was saying, like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I've got 15 things we could talk about.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
But so for you, Soothing, is there anything that you want to get to right away? Of course, like there's one big announcement, a joyous occasion. Well, not for New England Patriot fans, but there's for BoBA fans. And we learned last week, people are like, I don't care who wins. I'm just excited to get a chance at another box.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, huge congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. That was quite the game, to say the least. I believe that the MVP should have gone to Jason Myers. I will say 5 for 5 on field goals, didn't miss an extra point. That man was the MVP of that game. The game really, it didn't feel like a Super Bowl until the fourth quarter. That's when we started seeing the big plays happen. All of that stuff happened. It was very much a defensive game for the first 3 quarters. Mr. Draco threw for a sneaky 235 passing yards in the fourth quarter. That's the most ever by a quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Wait, how much did he throw for in the fourth?
235 in the fourth quarter alone, and it was like the sneakiest 295 passing yards ever. But anyway, besides the point, that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about the Super Bowl. We are here to talk about the championship box, and the championship box, of course. That drops on tomorrow, right, Slappy?
Yeah, actually, I'm curious, like when it comes to the teleprompter, is that Soothing, can you see the teleprompter or no? I'm assuming it's only for the host. No, that's right. It would be right there on the screen. I love this new system. All right. So I will share what the announcement was. For folks watching us, appreciate everybody tuning in. We're talking about Bo Jackson Battle Arena. For those of you old enough to remember, this is TWIB, This Week in Baseball, This Week in Bo, and we're talking about the announcements that come out. For a lot of folks, I mean, Soothing, so many new people who probably don't even know that in addition to the big sets, they do a micro set every time there is a major sport championship. We're spitting on our hockey brethren. There's no love there for the Stanley Cup winners. But for NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, is that the person crowned, they get a special edition set. And it's a very micro set. So, of course, because Seattle won, they'll be getting their own set. And here is what the announcement was. And this came in Discord, which is it's a social media app. And then the Bo Jackson Battle Arena team communicates a lot of information there. All right. They said Seattle World Champ boxes on sale Wednesday, everyone. All right. Congrats to the Seattle fans among us. Let's see. Let's get this going a little faster. We will do the Champions box sale the same way we did it for baseball. I like that you all had a chance to control your fate, and there was a code raffle for luck to play in. Seems like a good way to do it. 50% of the available supply will go up first come basis on Wednesday. Then 50% will sell via a code raffle, and if selected, you have 24 hours to buy. Any unused codes we will keep as prizes for live selling events, etc. Stay tuned for more details. These will print with Griffey, update, and ship around the same time. So we're looking at around July, August timeframe. And that was signed by Jeff. And he said, P.S. This timing to get on press will be the norm for those champ editions for the foreseeable future. The boxes sell once the winning team is crowned, and we let Frank and his team cook and make them great. Then they print next time we are on press with a set. So like LA boxes will print with the Tecmo, for example. PPS, we should have full details posted by Tuesday. That's today when we're filming this live. I like 2 p.m. Eastern for sales like this. So pencil that in for Wednesday with an alarm set if you want it. Max print run will be the same as it was for LA. Get in where you fit in. All right. So thoughts, Soothing, on that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we kind of slid past it real quick. So let me just reiterate what you were saying before we read the announcement too. But for those of you that are new that do not realize what a champ box is what Slappy said. So anytime a team wins a major championship in a sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, so far that we've seen, they get a special box in celebration to that. So those special boxes, there is a championship box and there's an alt art box. And so we have heroes in the game already that are a part of the Seattle Seahawks. For instance, K9, which is inspired by Kenneth Walker. Barreler from Alpha, which is inspired by Cooper Kupp. And so people like that may be making their return in this box in a different form. They may have an alternate kind of art, but whoever ends up being the cover athlete of this box, which we don't know, I will make the small assumption though that it will be K9 because he was the Super Bowl MVP. And he's already in the game, is that he will get an alternate art entirely, a full art type of card. So we've seen that with Shohei Ohtani with the LA Dodgers. We've seen that with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander inspired in the OKC championship boxes, which is going to be really, really cool. And then there's usually a few other athletes put into that box. So my assumption would be, K9, possibly JSN, possibly Barreler making his return. I would love to see, Darnold get a card, which would be insane. I think there's some cool things with his name. You could do darn-old and then something because he didn't really do much. It's a really, really cool set to celebrate the championship of teams and celebrate the success that is in sports. And with Bo Jackson Ballerina being so vested into the sports world and the TCG world, it's kind of that perfect kind of mix to celebrate. There's a lot of Seahawks fans in our community, so they're really, really excited for it. The Bears deserve one, even though they didn't win a championship, but we won't talk about that. Okay. They were the people's winner, of course. But yeah, it's a really cool set. I'm excited for it. They sell out quick. So make sure you decide if you're going to get an altar box or the championship box, and more details to come today from the team, just like you said. So we'll know a little bit more about it, but I went on that tangent, Slappy, and now I forgot what the question was you asked me.
Well, no, I asked you your thoughts, and clearly you shared them. I do want to share, since we're talking about, folks have an idea of what we're talking about. For the Radish show that we do, What's It Worth, where people bring on their collection. Appreciate Reaper in the community. He brought in his collection. We broke it up into 3 different shows. One of them, which will be appearing, is he had on his Dodgers 24 World Series box collection. So it just, I'll be honest, Soothing, is that even though I have a collection of sealed, I don't have enough to rip. So I don't see these cards that often. And when I saw this hot dog, my first thought was like, wait a second, did he slip like a Pokemon card in here with like this collection? I'm like, wait, this is the wrong one. So this is a kanji hot dog. And that's right. Last year, I did not have one of these when I played in Apex Madness at the National Card Show. But so this is what a hot dog looks like. They're very valuable. They're good. In the past, they've been good for money tournaments. So that's another reason why people want it. But take a look at some of the alt art. So here's Showtime. This isn't going to be, so this is his fire card. This is his hex card. This is his ice card and steel card. But wait do you see the alt art. So this thing is just, it was interesting on What's It Worth when we were talking about it. And of course, you just don't see sales of this at all. And it was a very emotional response for some of us watching this because, I mean, this is Soothing to possess this card. Like, I would overpay for this. And it's not overpaying, right? Because it's what it's worth. But like, yeah. I mean, how much Soothing? Like, say you had the money. Say you're like, all right, I'm going to liquidate some stuff. If you had to buy this, like your fiance needs medicine, and the only way you can, she needs medicine, and the only way you can get the medicine is someone's like, you have to procure this card. And so you have to save some money for the other medicine she's going to need. So how much money, like when you're looking at this, what's your offer to the person who holds this card? Like what what ballpark?
That's quite the situation you're putting me in there. Because I would spend any amount of money to get the medicine I need for my fiance.
I know. I'm trying to think like you're limited. Like obviously,
but I will say this card. I mean, listen, there's the hex version out there. There's the glow, steel, fire, ice. The glow is amazing. I think I would be around $2,500 to procure one of these glows. The hexes, though, I mean, the hex kanji shoheis could very well be 5-figure cards. Super rare, super amazing, super cool. There's a tag 10 floating around out there, and I believe the offer, he wanted 40K for it or something. So I mean, it's there's a lot of value to these alt arts. Shy Step just came out with the alt arts too, though some of those cards are amazing. The alt arts are really, really cool, very collectible, very rare, very low print run. So this one being, you know, one of the coolest and first artworks, I definitely see a lot of value to it. And just like you had talked about with the hot dogs too, those kanji dogs, man, that fire kanji dog you just showed is like, you know, I've tried to buy a few of those and people aren't letting them go, man. I mean, I've offered $500 and they're like, man, we're off. And I'm like, huh? They're like, yeah, I want 800. And I'm like, dang, dude, like I just need one of these cards. So I, you know, whatever it may be, man, people hold on to these alt arts, and just like the OKC boxes with the hex, and the cow flying around in the tornado, like people aren't moving those, man. They are not moving them. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm bringing up, there's a PSA 10 that's in the collection. Again, that's going to be a special what's it worth, which just dealing with the LA Dodger boxes. You can take a look at that. All right, I thought that was the end of all the LA Dodgers. Yeah, you know, you saw Julio putting up 2K, and it's interesting where you come on that. I think these cards are a classic case of there's not enough. We talk about Bo Jackson Battle Arena. There aren't enough people who understand the market because they're not well known enough yet, right? We're growing, but still small, very, very small. So you take these world champion boxes, and I'm sure there are people, you know, watching today who've never seen the artwork on these cards. So if somehow these artwork, and again, if you're only talking, I have to go back, is I should have that number handy. I think it's like 6,800 or 1,200, because remember they did, I feel like it's like 1,250, like 600 were available for the alt and the regular on the first come first serve, and then they did like another 600 for the raffle. It was right around there. Like, so just so folks get an idea on what the print run on these, I think Soothing's going to look for right now, but we're talking right around 1,000 boxes total for both the alt art and the regular. The alt art is generally considered the more desirable because you take your kind of favorite artwork and just really make it crazy. And so that's where you'll see a lot of demand for the cards that are there. I remember when these boxes first came out and they were delivered, and you could get a hot dog for $40 or $50. And I remember some people questioning whether they were worth that much, which is insane. And like, you're taking a chance and you never know. By the way, Schmitty saying he thought it was 750. So I think which is going to go take a look at there. By the way, Whiplash saying the hot dogs are amazing in these sets. And that's what's great, right? When you look at the hot dogs in the regular Bo Jackson Battle Arena, it's hard because they do so much with the artwork. You don't want to get greedy. But I do look at the artwork on the hot dogs and I'm like, we could do something there. Let's make the hot dog not just a throwaway card. And like, they clearly don't in the champion boxes.
All right, so I found a Slappy. So like LA and Philly, these are small batch limited edition, less than 999 total boxes, 250 max print run on the alt arts.
Okay, so 1,250 then, 1,000 for the regular and 250 for the alt art.
I don't know if that number can. Yes, I believe so. Yes, I don't know if that number includes that though.
Yeah, I mean, Card Shark Sniper is saying the regular was 7.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
So less than 999 total boxes, and then 250 of those are alt arts. So the rest would be out of 750.
So before people go ahead and say it on Wednesday, and like if we go back up to the comment that was made, where we say Joseph, who was first here, first to be disappointed. I love getting disappointed. Perfect, another pre-sale. I did speak with a community member about this, where they're saying you can't do it this way. The first come first serve. It's not fair. And I love that Frenchie, the co-founder of BoJack's and Battle Arena, has taken this tack where half is available for first come, first serve, and half is completely random. For some of us who love the thrill of the hunt, is like, I mean, first of all, just setting your alarm. I mean, how many people desperately want this box? I'm like, crap, it's like 2:30 Eastern. I missed it. So it will sell out in 2 seconds. It'll be about a 2-second sellout. But you know, even doing things like the old, for folks who did blockchain in the old blockchain days, is like you actually have your phone like with an Ethernet adapter and hardwired in your phone so that you get that millisecond like increase. There's a lot of things that you want to do as like tricks to make sure you're there. The BoJack's and Battle Team use this shop. So you want to make sure your shop account set up. You don't have two-step verification, because once you put it in your cart, it is not verified. It's not confirmed that you have it. It's not until the sale goes through. So you need everything: your shipping address, your payment information, the two-step verification off. Everything has to be set for it to go right. And even then, we learned last time, they sent out the notification over 100,000 people on their email distribution list. So you're talking over 100,000 people going for 1,000 boxes.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, just like the last release of the LA boxes after they won the World Series, I tried to get one, just one. I picked one, and I consider myself fairly tech savvy, Slappy. Okay, fairly tech savvy, and I missed it. So like, it's one of those things, man. You gotta be quick. Gotta be quicker than that, big guy. Gotta be quicker than that, and you know, it's fun though. I love the way that it's done too, because for those people that aren't able to be quick or have the availability to be there right at 11:59, they have another chance. And I think that was really smart by the team, giving everybody an opportunity to do it. And then of course, if there's unused coupons that go out, then you know they're going to use them for events and for other things. So it's like a third opportunity to get a champ box.
Hey, can we pause right? Can we pause right here and give you credit, because you pronounced coupon correctly? So just want to give you the applause you deserve instead of coupon. Like, yeah. Okay.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah. Coupon.
Yeah. Right. It sounds as dumb in your head as it does to mine. Thank you. By the way, I do want to point out Card Shark Sniper coming in correction. Alt was 250, regular was 99. I found the Frenchie announcement. I just want to say, I did call out 1250 as the number, and when you, and not because, hey, I was right, but when you get to be my age and your memory sucks, the fact that you can remember anything correctly, I will take applause for that. So the key thing is, you know, whether it's 1250 or 1,000, and it's going to be,
it's very rare.
It's extremely rare. It's going to be almost impossible to get. The funny thing is, when you look at the prices on those, Soothing, based on how rare how limited they are, how hard they are to get, you know, you're kind of used to BoJack's and Battle Project after a while, right? It's 2x, 3x, you know, 4x, 10x. And these actually don't go crazy. Like, they're generally like 2x. So the funny thing is, everybody wants to get it, but the price on these boxes, and I don't know if it's always going to be that way, because again, how many Seattle Superhawk fans are there? Like, I mean, C-Town can only buy so many of these. And then, you know, everybody else just wants it for the artwork, for the cards, for the power, for the hot dogs. But do you think it'll ever change? I mean, if anything should be 10x, these should be, because of the demand and the scarcity of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say that like immediately after sale, they are 2x. Like there's no gradual increase. I think like the alt art boxes, I think they are going to continue to raise in price. I mean, if someone is holding on to an original LA Dodgers, the first World Championship that they won, alt art box right now, I mean, that could very well sell for 4 or 5x. But it's about holding, you know, and you know, these they aren't like in the grand scheme of things at the pre-sale, these are not crazy expensive. Now they're still, you know, couple $100, $200, $300, $400, but in the grand scheme of BoJack's and Battle Arena, these are a smaller, cheaper box in theory, but they are a hold if you get them. Now, I believe in ripping, so I will be ripping on them if I get them. But either way, I think it is a hold if you plan on holding sealed product, like a lot of people do. But at the end of the day, it is, to your point, there is only so many Seattle Seahawks fans, right? And so it's a little bit more niche of a who's going to be the buyer of this, who's going to buy the Seattle Seahawks championship box, who's going to buy the OKC Thunder championship box. Like that's one of those things. So that's all I'll say on that piece. But yeah, all right, you got the price guide up. Let's do it. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. No. Just bring up the Radish price guide because, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Of course, it scrapes all the data from eBay. This is the final sale price, not the listed sale price, but what actually was agreed upon. So the Philly World Champion Alt Art Box 2025 for the Super Bowl champions last year, those are selling for $600. The Alt Art boxes. The regular box is selling for $450, and again, those sold within the last week. The OKC World Champion box, the last NBA champions. And of course, those boxes have only been available for a couple of weeks. Those are at $420. So again, and I think the price was, I know it wasn't 210 or lower. So that's not even 2x. And that's kind of my point.
OKC was 185 and 245.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't remember a box going for 185. That's great. All right. Let me ask you quick then, Soothing, since you have the numbers. What was the Philly? What was the champion box? And what was the Alt Art box?
Ooh,
the price?
Hold on.
That's crazy that you know the OKC, right? Is it because you had the announcement pulled up?
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I was like, does he know the numbers? I mean, is he the biggest Oklahoma Thunder fan in the world? He's like, I had my $185 saved up. I knew exactly what it was.
Eagles championship box. Oh, this is interesting. So the Eagles championship box was 999 of the battle foils and 350 alt arts. So that changed. And then same price there, 185 battle foil, 245 alt art.
Okay. So you are looking at the 185 for the Philly. So you're looking at about 2.5x. I mean, and that's what's crazy about Bo Jackson Battle Arena. When you look at something like this, you're like, why is it only 2.5x? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when you look at the demand, it's kind of something. And let's look, just if we go down, of course, the one that started it all, the LA World Champion boxes, that was back in November. That sold for $675. The Alt Art box sold for $700 right after National this past year. So it'd be interesting to see if the World Champion boxes, if the $675, that came right before the Ken Griffey set was released. So it's interesting is if you had to look, I mean, what do you think, Soothing? You think that price has gone up, or do you think there was a little bit of hype there and it's come back down?
No, I think it's gone up. I think it's going to go up. Well, there you go. There's one on for $2,500. I mean, look, all it takes is one purchase to set a market. So let's say that box right there sells for $2,000. Well, there's the market, right? So, but I will say, I think that those ones right now in the current atmosphere of Bo Jackson Battle Arena, those ones right there, those original LA alt boxes of the championship boxes, those are like the first place, right? In my opinion. And then the Philly and the OKC boxes fall there afterwards. But until a team like the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago Bulls, the Chicago Bears win a championship, I don't think we'll see someone crowned as the top chase. There's no bias, of course, no bias at all. But yeah, I mean, dude, the championship boxes are so cool. They're so collectible. And, for the people who are a fan of the team that wins is just like a whole nother thing. And the reason I say the LA boxes are going to be the most valuable is because I think Shohei Ohtani inspired Showtime goes beyond just baseball, goes beyond just the Dodgers. It's impossible, in my opinion. It's hard to not like the guy. Very hard to not like the guy. A lot of people didn't like Tom Brady because he was really, really good and he was kind of cocky about it, and all that kinds of stuff, like all the different allegations going behind there. But like a lot of people liked Michael Jordan. He was, international. But Shohei is also international. He's always happy. He's always happy to be there. He's very grateful to be there. And he has an insane work ethic, and he's an amazing player. So I think even if you're not a Dodgers fan, you are a Shohei fan. And, that's I'll plead my case.
I will say one thing, because I agree. He's easy to like. He's a nice guy, and he takes his gambling losses easily. And no, I'm teasing. But I will say, based on the Dodgers, how much they're spending and picking up people like Kyle Tucker and just continue to spend after spend after spend. I will say, we'll see like this third Dodgers box that they're going to have to do at the end of this year. Is like, I will say I actually think it'll start hurting the boxes. If they win this next World Series, there's something about when you think about, the Yankees and they three-peated. And before that, I think Oakland was the last team to three-peat before that. And it wasn't like the Yankees were starting to be like, oh, are they buying it? Is it money? But it was hard because they had their core four, right? They brought up Jeter and Pettit and Posada, Bernie Williams. So they had all this homegrown talent. So you can't really make the argument that bringing in Scott Brocious and Charlie Hayes were like, they were blowing money on superstars. But I think that this community is like, if it's just a corporation buying championships, I will say, we'll see if there's two more Dodger champions in a row. I think it lessens first of all, it'll lessen, like, if you keep repeating the Dodgers, right? It becomes like, why do I need this Dodger box? I can get one 2 years later. And all of a sudden you're quadrupling the product. Now it might be a different year, but it's 4 times as many Dodger boxes. So I'd say that's the only risk about that. Hey, a couple of folks have been mentioning some stuff in here that I just want to get your comment on. And it's definitely one thing that I've thought about. Like, I'm a big Olympics fan. So, of course, Schmitty's saying, love to see a World Baseball Classic box or an Olympic box. And the World Baseball Classic, it's funny, baseball is my number one sport. I would rather see an Olympic more than World Baseball Classic because I kind of feel like we catch baseball players in the set already. I would still love it and get it. But the Olympic box, I really wish we'd do an Olympic box.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympic box would be really cool, right? I mean, the Olympics are, you've got the winter every 2 years and the summer every 2 years. So the print run on those would be less, and they would only come out every 24 months. So I really like the idea of an Olympic box. You could even do it as an every 4-year thing. But of course, right. I'm sure that these are things that the team is thinking about doing. An Olympic box would be amazing. I also think a World Cup box would absolutely blow this thing out of the water. I think a Messi card or a Ronaldo card or a Ronaldinho card or a Pele card, like there's so many different things that they can do, and that's what's so awesome about the like ethos of Bo Jackson Ballerina is that it's all based in sports, and there's no specific sport that we're based in. There's already tennis, there's already hockey, right. There's already Olympic swimming, there's football, basketball, baseball, all of that stuff. Like, there's so many different ways to go about it, that it's just like endless ideas, right? And so it's just about how to bring those out. And we want everything right now. Right now, we want everything right now. But I think the team is really, really good about like slowly releasing things that we really, really want to keep that hype train going and to keep the product growing. But yeah, I mean, X Games would be cool too, like what Card Shark Sniper said. I would love to see Sean Whyte in there. That would be super, super cool. But there's athletes that are Olympic athletes, like even Simone Biles, right? Like she is way bigger than the Olympics now. Like, she is a public figure, Simone Biles. And so there's so many different routes to go, so many different amazing athletes to get in the game. It's just time, I think. I mean, of course, we have our set schedule right now. We've got Griffey, and then we've got Tecmo, and then we've got Griffey Update, and then we'll have the new cover athletes. So it's about finding the time to fit that in.
Jeez, you almost sound like you're part of the team already. By the way,
no, oh my gosh, I like to consider myself an ambassador of it because I am a breaker. So by no means am I a part of the team, but I do believe what they're doing is good for the game.
Card Shark Sniper saying, I think college champ boxes would be awesome. Would love to see more college. And of course, for some folks who aren't familiar, that there is a Sandstorm edition. They did it as a test run. They did it with they're based out of South Carolina, so they did it with the University of South Carolina. It was a limited edition. There was great demand for it, so they definitely see a lane for that. But as Soothing mentioned, it just is finding the lane for that. And by the way, Julio saying, yes, World Cup is genius. I know that Petrarca desperately wants the crossover in Europe, so he would love to see World Cup. All right, and let's see, Phelps swimming through an Phelps swimming through card sharks. Phelps swimming through an ice weapon, card or fire. Yeah, I mean, cool. Michael Phelps is. We don't talk about him enough when we talk about Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan being cover athlete. Like, to get Michael Phelps would just be amazing. Yeah. And by the way, Julio, thanks for the compliment. You guys are the original founders of BoBA. Is that appreciate you guys always coming here into the community and letting us talk. And I love, by the way, Soothing, I love the conversation this morning. Love everybody who's in here already. And I do want to say, you mentioned you are a breaker, so you're like an ambassador. So let me go ahead and I want to share, let's see, a comment that was made. Frenchie came in and he talked about what makes a good breaker. And let me add this to the stage. So Frenchie said, an honest assessment of how good you are at the entertainment process is important too. And this was generally speaking about breakers. In my observation and based qualitative and quantitative data we have gathered, breaks require a higher entertainment score. Single shows are much less dependent. You just need to know the cards and have the inventory that people request, but you don't have to be nearly as much of a showman to be successful with singles. The cards do the work of entertaining in single shows. The cards do that in breaks too when the packs start ripping, but at the bidding, but all the bidding happens with no cards on the table. So the streamer has to entertain. And I wanted to bring this up for a couple of reasons, Soothing, is that there are a lot of folks who don't go into the Discord where the team actually communicates a lot. And there's a lot of us who can't be in the Discord 24 hours a day. So I just want to cover some of the comments from the team that are going on. So it's interesting, Frenchie, like, since obviously Valley Hit House, you're a breaker, I thought it was great to bring this up. And I think it's interesting that people misunderstand Frenchie all the time. Frenchie loves breakers, but people think that in terms of the breakers, people can see, and the breakers are no different than the face of the community. There's good breakers, there's bad breakers. There's bad habits, there's good habits. Frenchie loves exactly what he just wrote, a breaker who brings entertainment value so that you, the watcher, the person who buys in a break spot, is willing to pay to say, I enjoy this. Like, people love watching you, Mitch, when you go ahead and do your break. Now they're just rooting for you to rip a super 1 of 1. But it's interesting is like, no, there's not some secret, like people will talk about like some secret plan where, Frenchie's like, it's all about the breakers. It's funny if you know his thinking. He absolutely loved breakers, but he 100% believes they have to survive on their own. He absolutely does not want to create some subsidized like breaker like ecosystem. But it's really fascinating. I thought it was worth bringing up because we see every day more people breaking. When BoBA first started, I'll never forget somebody going like, I went on Whatnot. There were 3 people breaking BoBA at the same time. It was crazy. It wasn't just Hobby Club. And it's funny now because you go on and like, how many people do you think are breaking on Whatnot BoBA? Do you think it's 20? Do you think it's 50? Do you think it's 100? What is it? So like, I don't have a handle.
There's been days when I went to check to see how many shows are on, and I've hit 30. Yeah, where I count how many people are breaking it
at the same time, or just shows scheduled
in a day. 30 different shows breaking BoBA.
So how many do you think we have then? Does that mean it's 50, 60?
It's my thing. Okay, so do you consider yourself a breaker if you break once a week? Do you consider yourself a breaker if you break twice a week? Right. So like that, there's a little bit of that to an extent, right? But if we're counting people that just have broken one time in their entire lifetime, we're over 100, maybe close to. I mean, Julio says 300. I mean, Julio's always hanging around, so Julio might have a better idea than me, man. I love seeing Julio in our shows, man. He's an awesome hype man. Him and there's another guy in the community called Mikey MLK, super awesome hype people. Joe Bohu being one of them. Joe says 50 plus. I think 50 plus is a good number for like consistent breakers, of people that are breaking at least once a week on a consistent basis. That's a good number in my opinion. So it's crazy to think that we went from Hobby Club and maybe one or two others now to 50 plus. I mean, you can see just in that regard how much the community is growing. And I love that breakers are starting. I actually, when people want to start breaking and a lot of people reach out to me, I give them as many tips as I can, because at the end of the day, like people that are breaking the product are creating their own community. And so that community is growing into Bo Jackson Battle Arena. So in that regard, you have like them building more people loving this product, and those people flow into other streams. And so I'll always be a fan of people starting to break. I mean, yes, it's always competition, right? In a sense of a breaker, but I'm always that person that's willing to help. And I love seeing new people break, and I'll always go in and try to support if I can. Really happy for like Rue, who's starting to break as well. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of breakers out there, and you got to be good and you got to stand out, man. If you really want to make it, you got to stand out. And this is the story that I always tell, is like when I looked at Adam and I said, we're going to do Bo Jackson Battle Arena instead of sports cards, I was like, we're dressing up in hot dogs. And he looked at me and he was like, what the, and I was like, yeah, we're dressing up as hot dogs, Adam. I don't care. And obviously that's now become our ethos, is costumes and themed breaks. And I think people really enjoy it, and I enjoy it, and we have fun making the themes.
And you know what? Your fiance thanks you, because when it comes to Halloween, is her costume is now tax deductible. By the way, is that Joseph saying there's a brand new breaker that is going to incorporate live music, the Bassment Studio. The Bassment Studio. Is that I wasn't aware of that. Like, that's really cool, adding live music into it. But I'm glad you kind of commented on that, Soothing, is that I think for folks thinking about getting into it, because I think people see a lot of successful breakers and they think they want to get into it. And so just know, like, I think it's important to know Frenchie, who is the operating partner of Bo Jackson Battle Arena, what he looks for in breakers. And that's he wants entertainment. Show him that, you're entertaining the people. He doesn't, like, his product can sell itself. And let's be honest, like, I know that sometimes people can get down on breakers, but the one thing to keep in mind, there's a lot of people in product deserts and they can't get product at all. And so this is one way to get it. You can say, like, well, they're taking all the product. It's like, well, no, like, if you're in this remote area and the products across the country is like, I know, like, Seth that mainly breaks. He has family up and down the Northeast corridor. So when a new set comes out, Seth has them spread out across the Northeast, and then he goes ahead and gets the product. So he's working hard to get that product. You're in rural Idaho, is like, there's a chance that, you can come into his break to get it. All right. Well, I don't want to get too much into the breaks, but one more thing I did want to talk about with the breaks. There was one other issue that came up, Soothing, and like, let's not go into names, but just because we should address it. It happened in the community. My tolerance, Frenchie put this announcement out. My tolerance for noise spillover from breaks could not be lower than it is. I'm a fan of breaks done well, but if they're resulting in spillover like this, you're doing it wrong, and I need to find somewhere else to do it. And so I don't want to get in the names, but it's important. Like, I want the community to know they can come here and find out everything that happened this week in Bo Jackson Battle Arena. But there was a breaker that was in there, and I was not part of it. But what people were commenting on is that family members of the person running the break were bidding on spots. I believe that was the issue that people brought up. And then it turned into this conversation is like, can family members of breakers not bid on the spots? And, you had, I think it was Pegasus who came in, or no, it was Penguin who came in and said that, no, like, one of the sacrifices we have to make as breakers is that you cannot bid on product. Your family cannot bid on product. Your friends cannot bid on product, which is interesting when you said friends. I mean, technically, Soothing, like, you're not going to have anybody in your breaks if your friends can't bid on it, because I think you'd consider most of the people in this chat and in the community your friend. So that might have gone a little bit too far. But am I right? Is like that was the issue, is people felt like there was a shill bidder, like there was somebody in there who was bidding spots up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I put a message in chat too, And people like my mom and my stepmother and my stepfather, they've wanted to support my streams, and I've always told them, like, if you want to support, just watch. And that helps the algorithm, even when it comes to people in your stream and all that kinds of stuff. But I don't want to see Mama Soothing bidding on a spot or Mrs. Soothing bidding on a spot. I never want to see that. That's not good optics. But I will say one thing about friends. I have had friends that I talk to and I don't tell them what I do for work. And they randomly find my stream. And it's such a cool experience for me that, like, some random person that I'm friends with in the real world is like, yo, is that Mitch? And I'm like, yo, what's up, dog? And like, that's cool. But like, there's a fine line of like, hey, come into my stream and bid on spots, versus it's natural and it's organic. And you just have to be really careful about that from a breaker, because Whatnot is built on trust. It is built on what you give out to the community and what you provide. And if you're providing something that even in a small sense may seem problematic, it's not going to be a good luck, and it's just really not going to make your buyers enjoy what you're trying to provide to them. And so, it's tough, man, because the person who was a part of the situation actually reached out to me. I wasn't even in the break, but he reached out to me and he apologized. And I don't know the full story. I wasn't there, but just think about it from a buyer's perspective and what the buyers are seeing and what they're looking at. It's like that's your customer, man. I mean, it's more than just someone bidding on a spot in a break. They are your customer, and you deserve to give them a good service.
Well, and that's, I'm glad you brought that up, that they reached out, because I think the important thing is a hallmark of the community. And what we don't want to see happen in our community is when mistakes are made, is people pounce and there's no forgiveness. Now, I'm not speaking to the BoBA team. I'm talking about us as human beings, is that give grace just like you expect grace for yourself. I don't think I think from what I was reading, it was a misunderstanding of the culture. It wasn't intentional, the way it was done. Of course, we can't know that for sure. But that's one of the reasons why I just want to talk about this, because for folks thinking about getting into breaking, is like, we've gotten to the point where it's the culture of bow battle breaking is established enough that there's norms. And so what happens is, could this have happened a year ago and it wouldn't have been as big a deal? Probably. Because it's like, oh, no, you can't do. Okay. Yep. Yeah. It won't happen again. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, right? They'd be told not to, and to go on. So just for the people who are thinking, because I know every day more people are, and I'm looking at you, Henhouse, are like adding to the breaking. I see you, Space City, and like they're adding to the breaking. Now, these guys have been breaking. They've done it several times, but it's just, there's norms that you have to follow. And it's just to stay, just so you, to your point, take care of the community, take care of yourself. We don't want to see this. There's a lot of good community members. You don't want the misunderstanding. All right. One misunderstanding that did come up is that here is this Blast Bo Jackson Battle Arena box that was autographed on the box by Bo Jackson. Now, Soothing, did you happen to catch the community member who put this up? This was Moop Dad, I believe, who put it up for auction. He started as a Dutch auction for $40,000. He didn't say it was worth $40,000. He said, I have no idea what it is, but he did what you're supposed to do in a Dutch auction. Start above the wildest dream, and then you lower it. And I think he was going to lower it $1,000 a day or $1,000 a week or whatever it was.
$1,000 a day. Yep.
$1,000 a day. And I didn't see where he said he was going to be posting it. Is he posting it in the trade channel in the Bo Jackson Battle Arena Discord, or is he doing it through his marketplace?
No, I believe he's doing it in multiple places.
Okay.
So, but most of it I've seen has been in, it should be at 32K today. Yep, exactly. So
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Mitch.
I was going to say, trade channel mainly is where he's been posting it. But I mean, it's quite the collectible item. I mean, it's the only one within community reach, right?
And that's the reason why we want to bring up this comment by team member Doug, because his original post was edited, and no shade on Moop Dad, because of course there's a lot of product we have. The team doesn't comment on scarcity, so it's hard. Sometimes like you piece it together and you might piece it wrong. Moop Dad thinking he had the only one, And then Doug from the team mentioning there more than 4 are autographed, by the way. Each senior team member got one. This is the only one released to the public. So let's be clear, is that if you're a senior member of the Bo Jackson Battle Arena team, that ain't never getting in the public. So for all intents and purposes, you might as well consider it a 1 of 1. These are boxes that are going to stay with Bo Jackson, with Frenchie, with the few others, and they're never going to leave their site, right? Soothing?
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think they will ever leave their site. So I know that the team is involved in like trading within the community, and they have cards themselves and will sometimes trade cards to community members that are chasing them and vice versa. But a box like this, that never leaves the hand of someone, and great for Moop to win it and to be putting it back out into the community. That's awesome. But I think whoever ends up buying this, you'll never see it again. So
Yeah.
It's one of those things, man. I mean, let's talk about Blast for a second, because you had Blast boxes, and then you had the ones for people who played at the National, and those were encased in that thing, and those had stickers on them for the encasement, and we saw that sell for $9,000-$10,000 on eBay. And now this one is signed under this cellophane by Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty insane. That's pretty sick. So, I mean, we'll see what it ends up selling for. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to sell for. I can't even make a guess. I won't make a guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. Ooh, I'm going to guess between 12 and 17,000. I can't get any more narrow than that. By the way, Whiplash saying 750 only. Yes, Whiplash, 750 only. That's what was created. But Soothing, you mentioned something. It's not as good of a segue now because we went a little bit past it, but when you were talking about the team members and chat, talking about trading, and of course, Doug trying to desperately to complete a collection every day, he's telling us that he needs those cards, and of course, Eric trying to complete dartboard. But I did want to bring up this comment from Eric where he said, "This is why eBay gets the fees they do. Trading over the counter is always a risk. So I'd say make people list cards on eBay and then go buy them. I understand everyone wants to avoid fees, but by the time you get scammed, the fee was probably worth it. So instead of asking us to build some verified bot, one-up voucher system where we take the liability, just use eBay." So of course there is a feeling in the community. It's a hallmark of Jeff French's communities. And for those of us who've been around, like I've been following his projects since 2021, is trust I was saying to Jeff recently, I was like, does it ever bug you that one of your greatest features is also a disadvantage, that you just naturally build communities where people trust each other? The downside is you don't get that data that's needed for outside validation. And what I mean by that is all the supers, all the hex, all the glows, all those rare cards are not trading on eBay. So what you're seeing are $10 cards going on eBay. You're not seeing the $2,000 cards. And that's what, one of the things Radish Price Guide is going to do is that Rob is working on a manual submission. The way it's going to work is you're going to be able to, when you complete a sale, you're going to submit the manual submission. We're going to have community members, have 10 volunteers, have an admin panel. And so basically you have to know somebody who's part of the trade, or you got to do a little investigation, but we're going to actually vet it with a human to figure out if it was legit, to get that data. So at least through the Radish Price Guide, you're going to be able to see it. But again, it goes back to if the community always trades things peer-to-peer, then they don't get that. More eyes will not see this on eBay. Like, whoa, what happened to that sale? And the other thing is you can't expect Bo Jackson Battle Arena to come up with that verification system. I know Hawkwood and I have talked about it in Radish. He's always more risk averse. We have a trade verification system for people who are in the Radish Discord. We have a system where you get a V next to your name if you're verified. And so that's known that you don't need to ask for vouchers. If somebody has that symbol in the Radish Discord, it means they've already done it. We've gone ahead and vetted them, and you can just trade with that person, send first. But again, it's a continuing issue right there. Soothing, what percentage of your buys are eBay, and what percentage are peer-to-peer in the community?
Well, a lot of my buys on eBay, those are sealed products, but a lot of my internal buys are through the community for cards.
Yeah,
that's 100%. That's where the kind of switch goes.
Yeah, so you're doing both. So it's
doing both, but I don't I bought a few singles on eBay, but a lot of the singles that I buy are via the Discord. I've been lucky enough. I haven't had any situation where I got scammed or whatever it may be, but you just got to make sure you're doing your due diligence if you are going that route, because with Eric's comment, like, you're liable like just as much, even if if you got scammed, you're liable for unfortunately you are liable for getting scammed. There's no one else that you can put the blame on. And that's, I mean, of course you can put the blame on the scammer, but like where does that get, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just you're taking a risk. eBay, if you buy something on there and it doesn't show up, you can get a refund.
Right.
But you just got to make sure you're doing your due diligence. Find the people that you trust, find the people that you know, ask for vets, all that kinds of stuff. People do that already. It's important.
You know, it's interesting that you were talking about as a buyer, right? You have that insurance from eBay, they'll back you up. They're notorious for being in the buyer's corner. So ironically, if you're a seller, you're probably less inclined to use eBay. It's not just because of the fees, but it's like we've heard reports from people in the community, right? You send the card and people claim this or that, and then they end up getting hoed. They're out the card and they don't have the money. It's not widespread. It has happened. But so it's funny when you mention that, like, I think that's more buyer bias. One other thing that I wanted to bring up here, I know we're getting close to the end of our hour, but let's see. Let's go ahead. And Porter had a question where he said, so what I'm reading from your post is Alpha Cards, Heroes and Plays. 2-year timer started with Griffey release November 2025. So Alpha Cards are valid and all tourney playable unless otherwise stated in rules until November 2027. Is that correct? Then some gameplay of only Alpha Trilogy may pop up, but we would be stated in rules as well. And Frenchie responded, I've said that the current rotation is 2 years. That's all that's official to this point. So what do you think of that? What do you make of that, Soothing?
Well, I think it's a very intentional response by Frenchie. That's all that is official at this point, which means more likely than not, something's coming out about it. And you know, sometimes he likes to talk that way for us to kind of, you know, guess, right? Yep, there it is. There it is. There it is. I didn't want to be the one, but Bazooka Vault, I believe, will be releasing a video inside the vault. Mr. Devin over there at Bazooka Vault, I believe he'll be releasing a video at some point tomorrow, kind of talking about what the future is of cards and where they're going to play into the gameplay. So I'm glad he's here, whether that's Devin or Derek, because I didn't want to be the one to say it. But yes, that announcement will be coming hopefully tomorrow. So I'm excited for that, to see where cards, you know, that's one of the big things, like us as collectors and players alike. Alpha has had this added value to it because of Alpha Trilogy. Yep. Our cards are always going to be viable, right? But what about Griffey? What happens in 2 years? What about Tecmo? What about this? What about that? So, you know, it's it's one of those things. You know, you just gotta. I'm excited for the announcement. Yeah, I think it's going to clear a lot of things up that the community have been asking questions on. I think it's going to give us a good idea of where everything is going to go as far as the future of gameplay, the future of collectability. And it's just going to prove to the rest of the community that, you know, the BoBA team wants to always find ways to give value to the people's cards. And it's true. They do. They find a way. Just like Blast, the Blast tournament. I mean, super cool, right? It's literally just Blast. So anyways, go ahead, Slappy.
I just want to say that we went ahead and I put in comments the link to Bazooka's Inside the Vault YouTube channel, and also it's putting here across the bottom. Of course, it's easier just to click in comments, but they Devin and the Bazooka team have a lot of they have all the most important announcements that come out of Bo Jackson Battle Arena. So make sure you're subscribed over there. Yeah, I'm excited for the alpha. Is that you hit the nail on the head for folks who are newer to Bo Jackson Battle Arena. I see a lot of folks in here who are kind of the folks who've been around for a while. So you know this about Jeff French. Jeff French is a collector. And I know it's hard because everybody wants product. He will never overproduce this. You will never see that product sitting on the shelf. He doesn't want to produce product that sits on shelf. He wants the collector to retain value. And it's part of his ethos. So I'm curious to see how this is all going to pan out. Like, because I'm thinking about the Blast boxes. There's 750. And here's what I think is that you know, every year that they do another tournament, like there's 99 and 24 cards, the Bo autograph cards. There's 99 and 25 cards. So if we do 99 every year, and whether you use your card for Apex Madness or Apex Playmaker, you get one, is that in theory, right? Not everybody can make it. So you have at least 7 years that you can take the 750 print run and feed those people with the Bo cards. But the reality is, how many people are going to show up? It never will be more than 2/3. It probably won't be more than half. So you probably have 15 years before you run out of print allocation. So the clarity I want to see, like with the N25, N26, N27, I'm so excited for this announcement, Soothing.
Me too. I think it's gonna be great. Devin usually makes some great videos. He looks great on camera. You know, his porcelain skin. So you know, it's great to see him talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. I hope he's still in here. But yeah, I'm excited for the announcement. It's gonna mean a lot to get that clarity, and I think people are looking forward to it. So
all right, and then we've got just a couple, I think 2 more things. One was Frenchie came out with a comment is like Geek Toy Hut was talking about paw print signatures needed for future Billy alt arts. And Frenchie said, funny enough, I already tried this and it didn't go well. You got to admit something, like I'm sure we've all thought this, like to have the paw print on the card. Like, I mean, how are you going to, like, it's not going to be neat. It's not, I mean, you know, it can't be perfect. So would you rather have a sloppy paw print or would you rather have no paw print on it? You personally?
So, man,
Getting back to the puppy bowl talk. Yeah.
you know, it depends. I mean, if it's really sloppy, I'd prefer it not to be on the card, right? If it was that bad, I'd prefer it not to be on the card.
Interesting.
Would it be really cool is if, let's say, 2 came out well, throw them in. Don't tell anyone. First 4 in the poll one is going to be like, what in the hell is this? And then it's going to just blow up. So, I mean, it's crazy that we are talking about an on-card paw print by the founder's dog. I love that Frenchie, like, this is his baby, right? Just like his dogs are his baby. And he put him in the game, and they are like the most one of the most collectible aspects to the game. And they may be athletic, but they're not an athlete, right?
Right.
And so to have that in the game, and now we have the Billy alt arts, right? And like, I just love it so much, man. I have a Billy card. I'll probably never let it go. It's like one of my untouchable cards. Like,
Sure.
Isn't that crazy? Like, I have a 101 of caliber, and I'll never let that go. But like,
Right.
I have a steel base battle foil of Billy from Alpha, and I'll never let that go. Like, it's so cool to see it. You know, I love that he added that aspect to it. But yeah, I mean,
to your point is early on is that we had a chance at Jorzane and Rhodey, Tech Super, and Yo-Yo and I to get a blue battle foil Billy, and I think he's around 160 or 170. I think it was around $300. But it's just like in the very beginning, you knew, you're just like, this was when the set first came out, and like we jumped on it, like just to have that piece. It is interesting. Card Shark Sniper saying, I think a sloppy paw print would be a chase for a lot of people. A paw print with some ink run would be like a Maker's Mark bottle with wax runs. You know what's interesting, Soothing, is that if Jeff were to bring, you know, it'd be interesting. Talk about signings. Jeff brings CJ or Billy to National, and he does an auto session. So all of us who have these non-auto, well, they're all non-auto. All of us who have our Billy or CJ cards, imagine the dog right at the table, and Jeff's just got his hand right there. You slip the card up, and Jeff's like, womp, 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 womp. It's like, I mean, an auto signing, but like, actually, can you imagine at the National Card Show, like up there, and like, oh my God, it's 2 below Bo. But can you imagine if everybody's like, wait, Bo's here, and like, there's your Bo, like get Bo to have Billy's hand and like doing the autos, and like the Billy Bo auto, like having Bo take Billy's hand and do it on you. Like, would that, like, you don't want a sloppy auto. If Bo was the one taking Billy's hand and doing it, would you want it then?
Shoot, man, give me a dual auto at that point.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Oh my God. Although I don't know, like poor Bo, like Bo, you're going to sign a card and you're going to sign it with a 4-legged animal.
I mean, Billy and CJ, they have both proceeded, right? They have both
Yeah.
ascended into legendary status within the Bo Jackson Battle Arena community. So, I mean, yes, we joke about it, but people would be excited for it. I mean, shoot, man, I don't know how long that line would be, but I think it would be kind of long.
I would love that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a big pet guy. I have 2 dogs myself, and I will soon start my campaign to get them in the game as well. No, I'm just kidding. But I do have 2 dogs as well. So I mean, yeah, I would love that. Would be super cool. I'd want to make sure Billy's okay doing it. Of course, talk to his lawyer, all that kinds of stuff. Make sure that it's within his contract within the game. And
I love your reverse psychology. I'm not asking him to be in. No, I'm only kidding. Wink, wink. All right, last bit of news, and of course this happened right after we went off last week. This is this week in Bo Jackson. We're talking. This is Soothing and Slappy Whyte. We're talking about everything that happened in Bo Jackson Battle Arena last week, and of course this seems like eons ago. The Star City game sale. It seems like it was longer than 6 days ago, dude. It's like, so they had a group of blasters and they said they were going to sell a half at $45. The other half they were going to sell at quote market rate. So the $45, of course, that's just $5 more than Dick's, which is $39.99. Dick's is almost completely obliterated. There might be a few pockets here and there. So to get it at $45 when the average eBay price was around $56 to $59 was definitely a good deal. And that sold out in about 20 minutes. Now, I know the team looked at it. They said, listen, blasters are an impulse buy. That's something near the register you just pick up. Hobbies understand double megas, why those sell out. Just you look at all the hits. Blasters, I mean, it's a crapshoot, and it's just a impulse buy. And I don't think, I was wrong. I thought that half the allocation at 45 would sell out in 5 minutes. It took, I think, 20 minutes. There's still some allocation that's left there. And I know the last couple of eBays, sales for the blaster box for Griffey were $59, then $56. And I don't see that eBay price moving until Star City Games sells out. Although I'm not sure how many people find the product on eBay are familiar with Star City Games. I don't know how good their SEO is. So when you search for a Griffey product, Star City Games is going to be up there because people might just be going to eBay, right? Why else would a sale for $59 have happened yesterday? You could just get it from Star City Games and just have them send it that way. But any thoughts about the blaster sale before we wrap it up?
I mean, blasters can be kind of hitters, dude. I'm not going to lie. I've opened a few blasters personally, and one of them I had a great grandma's linoleum Hex Warden, 185 power. So like they exist, man. There's some good ones out there. But yeah, I mean, Star City Games doing the sale like is awesome for the community, for those people who didn't get a pre-sale or couldn't get in or can't find something locally. You're only paying $5 above for a blaster. Blasters make great gifts. I actually gifted a blaster to my future brother-in-law for Christmas, and I gave one to one of my fiance's coworkers' kids, like just to get people involved. I mean, blasters are awesome. I think it's that low entry point to get you to open the cards. And if it's your first time ever opening them, I mean, you're looking at these cards, and if you're a sports fan, you're like, oh dude, this is so sick. Like, who is this? And you're like trying to think about it, looking at all the details, like, oh, Cupid, like who's Cupid? You're like, oh, that's the worst quarterback in the NFC North. Sorry. If you guys didn't know, I'm a Bears fan. But yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome that they're able to do that. And yeah, I do like the fact that it didn't sell out in 20 minutes, or that it did take 20 minutes to sell out. I think it makes sense because a lot of people look at hobby boxes being the creme de la creme, and megas being creme de la creme because that's what you see on on breaks a lot. Blasters you don't see as often, and so with the blasters, I will say like it makes sense that it was out for 20 minutes, but people are going to hit some bangers out of those blasters. You're muted, Slappy.
Yeah, I want to bring it up because I know you're a big fan of the blasters. Just the other day, there's somebody in a Facebook group. I think it was a one-on-one. Anyway, like you're seeing that in the Facebook groups, especially people just talking about the massive hits they're getting in the blasters. And I think people are, not only does Big Cardboard not offer big hits when you get like an actual like hobby box, but I mean to get it in a blaster so often, it's insane. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, where did the Bo 1 of 1 alpha come from again, Slappy? Just quick reminder, what box did it come from? I think it was a blaster. So I mean, there's heat, man.
Oh, all right. Real quick is that, of course, it wouldn't without.
Got BoBA cards? Don't guess the price. Look up their value now at radishpriceguide.com.
All right. So one thing that I just want to take a look at really quick is, let's go ahead and share. The price guide and taking a look at what happened. You can see there's that Griffey blaster box soothing, $51. So I'm not sure if that's somebody who bought one from Star City for $46 and they went ahead and they said, hey, I'm going to just dump it for $51. That's insane that someone sold a Griffey blaster box for $51. The Griffey double mega, right now it's going between 135 and 150. It's trying to flush out everybody who's selling in the 140 range. We'll see what happens before Tecmo. And then the Alpha Update Blaster Box, you can see at 110. Big League Chew Box, this one caught me by surprise, $580. Is that the 90-day average is $471? That was a big step up. I'm not sure if it's somebody looking for, I'm not sure if it's somebody looking for a bow card, and that possibly is why they're going after that. And then back there, you can see the hobby box. We haven't had a Griffey hobby box sale for several days. That's crazy, Soothing, that it's been days since we've seen a hobby box sell. So you see the sellers, they're holding on to that $700 figure that they're not going to sell the hobby box for. And then you have the buyers who are saying, I'm not ready to pay $700 yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're at that point. You know, I think we've talked about that before, is like the moment that a box sells for 700, that sets the new market, right? Looks like, I just went on eBay real quick. There's a few on bid right now. It'll be interesting to see where those end up that are on bid. One's at 670 with 10 hours left. But there's a lot of buy it nows at $700. There's a couple other ones at 470 on bid, 482 on bid. Stay away from those.
Soothing, to your point, 670 with 40 bids. 40 bids.
Yeah, I wonder who's bidding on that, guys. Let's stay away from that one. Like, stop. Yeah, like just let it go.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. All right, what do you have coming up, Soothing, for breaking? When's your next break? Now that you're every day, right? Is there a day you don't break?
Yes, every day. You know, we've got a break coming up today. It's going to be a case of hobby, case of double megas. It'll probably be a dirty case of hobby. Just 6 loosey gooseys. But
and this is all Griffey.
This is all right? Griffey. Still locked up. Double locked up now. So I'll be breaking from prison tonight. Hopefully breaking out. And tomorrow we'll be doing Professor Soothing as well. I believe we're going to try out a new theme at some point next week instead of Professor Soothing, so I'm excited for that. And then of course we're going to be breaking through Saturday. Saturday is of course Valentine's Day. Gentlemen, get your ladies flowers. Ladies, buy your husband a spot in our Valentine's Day break.
I can't believe how sexist you are. I can't believe how sexist you are. I thought for sure you were going to say, gentlemen, get your wives a break spot, and ladies, get your gentlemen. Like, why should she get flowers? Like,
damn, you're right.
I mean, you know, oh my God,
that was not meant to be sexist.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing worse than making an empathetic person like yourself feel uncomfortable by accusing him of something like that. You're the nicest guy in the world. I know why you would say that. I'm only teasing you. Because you know why? Because I think your fiance would prefer flowers over a break spot. And that's why you said it.
Would. 100% would. There's actually flowers on my countertop right there because I was home late one day last week breaking. So I made sure to get her flowers early in the day, knowing I was going to be home late. So it made the blow a little bit less, but still upset with me.
So you didn't come in late and be like, oh, honey, I'm late, but I got you a break spot. And you hit this like,
no, did not say that. No. But yeah, no, we'll have a Valentine's Day break. So the 14th, my fiance has made it very clear to me that I need to be home for dinner. So hard stop at 6. But yeah, I mean, spend time with your wives, your girlfriends, guys, for Valentine's Day. It's a very important day. It's a very important day to them, whether we think it's important or not. It is a very important day to them. I do believe that Valentine's Day is important, but not nearly as much. I'm going to be taking Kaylee actually snowboarding for the first time that weekend, and I thought that was going to be good enough. That I was going to go teach her how to snowboard this weekend, but no. It also needs to be Valentine's Day. So making that happen. And but yeah, be there, guys, on Saturday. I'll be dressed up as Cupid. So it should be fun. And I'm still not sure what Alan's going to dress up as, but we're going to figure it out. We've been sending back each other Amazon screenshots of what we should be wearing. So I'm excited for it. I will have a shirt on. Okay. It's not just going to be a sash or anything like that. Okay. No TOS complaints there.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Plus, I'm not like ripped. Trust me. I'm like, it's not a good thing to look at here.
We'll trust you. We'll trust you. Trust me. We'll trust you. But that sounds awesome. All right. Well, I can't wait to tune in. Soothing, great week. And for everybody, this was This Week in Bo Jackson Battle Arena with Soothing and Slappy Whyte. We appreciate you guys so much. Conversation was just on fire today. Thank you guys so much, and have a great week.
Yeah, lights on, screens up, here we go. Welcome to Radish Digital's weekly show. Breaking down the plays, the pulls, the plans, straight from the floor of the battle arena stand.